I've started shaping in the distant mountains. I added in more of the blue, the Prussian blue and white mixture, and now I'm going to add in some just pure Prussian blue. Make them look sort of jagged. Shadows, and then once I've done this, I will do the tree. If there's too much red in it, I'm going to do a mixture of brown and Prussian blue, a little bit of white, and obviously I will leave some of the red glowing as well. So I decided to use some copper mixed with a bit of white and blue, and I made the rocks that colour. Now they have a nice little glint, and the mountains I just did various mixtures of the phthalo blue and the Prussian blue and the white and a bit of pink in between, and just back and forth making the mountain shapes and making the ridges in between. Again, I don't know if that's going to be my final mountain. I have to leave it all to dry completely and then come back and look. Now I've got the same colours, too much, not enough copper, on my brush, and see if I can make the tree a bit slightly better colour. That looks nice. I mean, I do want the cherry red wood to show through, but it does need some other variety as well. I changed my brush because the forward brush is great for blossoms and for just general background, but when you want something angular like a mountain or a rock, then you definitely need a bit of an angled brush or a flat brush, and I just prefer the angled brush. It just gives you that option to do the fine lines and the thin branches that you need to do. So I'm not going to obliterate all the red, but I am going to tone it down a bit. I really like how it's turning out at the moment. I'm very happy with the colours. The copper gave a nice glint there, a bit too much there. I'll have to remove that. A bit too much there, but still it's just the perfect colour rather than gold. And the waterfall is looking really nice. I think if I add the lesson just around there, just to give a glint as the water from the waterfall hits the pond or the lake. And the grass on either side is such a pretty colour. It's almost the same colour as the water, even though I used more turquoise there. You can see that. And underneath here where I used the black and the grey, that's given the nice illusion of rocks under the water. So all in all, I'm very happy with it. Now I'm just going to add some thin little twigs into the cherry blossoms. Just here and there, just to show how they are connected. I have to make sure that there's very little paint on the brush, because otherwise you come out with a thick stalk. So just a thin little stalk connecting there, and down here, just here and there, not everywhere. And then I'll also add some centers to the blossoms. Some already look like they have centers, but where there aren't any, I will add some. So that took care of the stalks. Now I'm going to add in a few centers with the magenta, just where I think some is needed. Now these blossoms, or cherry blossoms, come in sets of 5, so each blossom on its own is actually a blossom, because there's no ways that they would be this size on a tree at this scale. So the center is going to just indicate that these are clump of blossoms. On my smaller canvas, which I painted cherry blossoms in oil, I didn't really have to worry much about centers because they were so tiny. But even there, I just added little spots of magenta here and there and little bits of yellow. And I must say I love that painting, but I think I love this one more. I can't decide. I like them both. Acrylic or oil? Which do you prefer? Or which style? Anyway, so I'll continue like this. And see how far I go. I've added the magenta centers, to quite a few flower petals, but not everywhere. And I've also added some cherry blossoms just in the front of the tree here, covering up where there was too much copper, and also just making them the actual shape of cherry blossoms. And it looks very pretty. It almost looks prettier than the other shape, but these are close by, and I did a few there and here. The rest are in the distance, blowing in the wind. So if I go into too much detail now, it's not really going to make sense, because just like the mountains are in the distance, you're not going to see that level of detail, even if you were standing in front of the street, which you're not going to be because it's obviously much smaller. But I also want to take the earth up to there around here, just so I can put some grass there, and the trees were too tall. And then, since I'm going to do another painting that is connected to this painting, because I always like to do sets of twos, I'm going to let the water run through the rocks here and down through the river, going downstream. And so there'll just be a little bit of land around here, around the tree, and the river will be behind the tree. Now, again with this little ankle brush and some green and white together, I'm going to add just a few small leaves, and maybe they're just some buds here and there, just to liven up the colour of the tree. And you can see that the painting is very light. It has a lot of light in it, even though there's no sunlight. And whether that was because of the red underneath, which supposedly gives a lot of light to a painting, or whether it's because I use these lovely blues and pinks, which just are very nice colours, and they just harmonise together. I don't know, but that is the result, and I'm very happy with it. Couldn't have asked for more. So well, this is a very vivid green, but it will be muted. So I've brought the grass around the side there, up into the little hill there, around the front of the pond or lake, around the side there, and then on the other side of the river. So the river continues to stream down through the rocks and into the distance and into the next painting. And then the other painting, there will be more cherry trees. So I'll just add some other colours to the grass here. A bit of magenta and white. But I'll have to come back with some darker green. In the meantime, I'm just using what I have on my palette. And I'm also going to add a few little water lilies in magenta. I could also just add some fallen blossoms. Just out them. I think they really are, just because I like them, but they are just pretty flowers, and why not? Can't decide what colour to put to make these flowers on the side, or should I just leave it as grass? I've added some fallen petals around the tree, some fallen blossoms there, some fallen blossoms in the water on the other side of the river, and I've added some colour to the mountains, but I'm not finished with that yet. And now with some phthalo green, which is an essential part of the painting. I'm going to add darker blades of grass. Well, it's coming out quite blue. I don't like that. Let's add some white with it. Why is it? Definitely said phthalo green on the label. Maybe I need to check that. Yep, it's definitely phthalo green, so I'm going to add some in between here as well. We need blades of all and leaves of all shades. Maybe it just looks turquoise on this turquoisey background. So I just need to add some more. Well, I'm going to first add some lily pad leaves around here and see. They're kind of heart-shaped leaves. See how that looks. Well, there it looks green. It has a hint of turquoise in it. After sleeping on it, I looked at the painting this morning and decided there were things that needed to be changed. So I added them in. I took this grassy knoll around the side here to give it a nice curvy look instead of that straight line that I had before. I broke up this rock here so that the water continues flowing down there into the river and also into the pond or lake, whatever it is. Or it could also be flowing over the rocks down the river from the lake because the water is pushing. So that was those that I did, and then I also added some more big leaves around the water lilies because I didn't like the way they looked with only leaves on one side. I added a lot more daisies, and I added some yellow to some centers of the blossoms, and I also added a bit of yellow in the sky there just to have a bit of light coming through there. Although there was plenty of light, but I just thought it would make a little difference. And then finally I added some more grey in the tree because I felt that it was just too much copper. I thought I'd covered most of it up, but in the right light you can see it. If you're not in the right light, it's sort of not visible to me anyway. But now there's just a bit catching the tree there, and then in these branches there's a bit more. And the rest I left the red peeping out here and there because that's just, as I said, unifying the painting. And there isn't a lot of it left, but it does show up mainly in the trees, not so much in the mountains, and a little bit in the sky. And I don't think there's any down here. I can't see for sure. But anyway, so that's how it looks now, and I'm really now after making those changes, I was very happy, but I decided I still wasn't happy with the green of the background. It was still too bright and dazzling and taking away from the lovely colour of the lake and the water, and as well as the cherry blossom itself, which is really the star of the show, followed by the water. So I added a lot of raw umber mixed with a little orange. I glazed that over the green and the white flowers, and then I wiped some of that away with a wet wipe once it dried. Well, actually before it dried, and then I let that dry, and then I added another layer of very much toned down green, the light green and the permanent green light, which is a darker green, plus some white, and so that mixture combined toned down the color of the stalks and the grass in the background. So it's more subdued. It's still bright enough, I think, but without being as overwhelming as it was before. So now I'm happy with it. So again, thank you for watching. Please like and comment and let me know your thoughts. Bye for now.